Hi, this is DelusionDispeller, and this is the conclusion of why it was not your fault. All the abuse, the narcissism, the interrogations, the silent treatments, and all the things that you went through were not your fault. We were talking in the last video about how, as children, we are programmed by the dysfunctional adults' overreactions to things or unexpected reactions to things, such as 1 minute mom might be perfectly okay baking cookies, whatever, and just chit-chatting with the child, and all of a sudden she hauls up and whacks the kid across the face. And the child is like, "What did I do?" And the mother says, "You know what you did. Go to your room." And the child is like, "I don't know what I did. I have no idea what I did to just set her off. But mommy's mad, and I need to try to make mommy happy again." So a few minutes later, the child will come out and try to give mommy something that they made by hand. And the mother will take it and rip it up and throw it away and say, "What do I want with that garbage?" And the child learns that there's no pleasing this person, but yet the child stays all their life in this mode of, I've got to make mommy happy because I don't want mommy to be upset. When mommy's upset, bad things happen to me. And that's all they understand in their childlike mind, because a child doesn't understand abuse, and they shouldn't, because they shouldn't be being abused. So the child kind of internalizes that and says, if I can't make mommy happy, and mommy gets mad, then there's something wrong with me, and I've got to find a way to fix it. And eventually the child can't fix it and realizes the child can't fix it, and they grow up into an adult that's still trying to fix people, or just totally gives up on things when they get bad and things go wrong. They don't try to work out things. They just pretty much say, okay, fine, then that's how you're going to be. I'm just going to leave you, and the heck with you. There's a lot of different reactions that you can have when you're an abuse victim. That's just a couple of them. So anyways, this pattern of mommy baking cookies and then smacking the kid sets off the situation of walking on eggshells. This is where it all begins, basically. Borderline personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, I'm trying to think of the other one, avoidant personality disorder. All these disorders are learned, and therefore if they're learned, they can be unlearned. But the person has to be at a place where they realize they have a problem. And usually that comes from really extreme things happening in their life as a result of their overreactions to things. Like their spouse will leave them, or their daughter will move in with the ex-husband, or who knows. It could be a number of things. And even then, sometimes they don't try to get help like they should. Okay, so this is where the pattern of walking on eggshells starts. And this is why a child that was abused becomes an adult who automatically assumes people are trying to abuse them when they try to set boundaries with them. It's a very common reaction in a borderline when you set a boundary with them for them to say, oh, you don't like me. You just want to end the relationship. You want to leave me. It's starting to rain here, so I'm going to have to hurry up and talk fast. Now, as an adult, if a former abuse victim sees someone crying or being quiet, they may try to fix them or make them happy again. They may also just choose to ignore them, like I said earlier, or they may get angry with them, and you may see rage come out, or frustration, or throwing things, or punching holes through walls. I had an ex-boyfriend that used to do that. Anytime something didn't go his way, he would punch a hole in a wall. The best response when you see somebody that is reacting like this is to acknowledge that they're being quiet, tell them that you know that they're being quiet and that it's fine, but that they are not going to pull you down into their misery. And you're not going to sit there and engage them and try to comfort them and try to talk them out of their feelings. They're allowed to own their feelings, and let them do it. Now, being around people with borderline issues involves their extreme unexpected reactions. But if those people are also narcissistic, they are not just going to react, but they will not rest until they see you as reactive as they are. If you are calm when a narcissist wants you to be upset, they'll do everything they can to evoke a negative response in you, and they won't settle until you are visibly agitated, just like they are. The pattern can be where the adult blows up, where there's like an adrenaline surge going on inside of you when the adult blows up at you, and then they do the silent treatment for days. And then you start being afraid, what's coming next? They're not talking to me. Are they going to come back and try to work things out? Are they going to be angry with me? Is it over? Are they going to kick me out of the house? You just don't know. From this point on, every time a situation happens that's similar to the one that created the cycle in the unstable adult, that child, or you, will be triggered back to the same shock and fear reaction. So if you notice in your adult relationships you're having odd reactions that don't make sense to you, that's what's going on. It's triggers. Last part of this now. If you were that child raised by an abusive adult, narcissistic, borderline, etc., I want you to hear this. Listen very closely. I'm going to come close to the camera so you will understand that I am emphasizing this to you, from you, to you, from me. The abuse that you went through is not your fault. You couldn't have done any better than you did as a child. You couldn't have pleased the narcissist any better than you did. I don't care if you call them mommy, daddy, mother, father, mom, pop, ma, pa, whatever. Just because you call them that did not make them that. Everything in your life, if you were raised by one of these people, was about them, their problem. Let them own it. Don't you own the guilt, the blame, and the shame from the projection that they're trying to put on you. None of the abuse was your fault. You couldn't have done anything better or anything different. You couldn't have figured them out more. You couldn't have become a better whatever in your vocations. You couldn't have dressed better or acted better in public to make them love you. You can't make somebody love you that chooses not to love you. And guess what? You don't need their love either. There are other people in this world who will love you and care about you. Bring the people close to you who celebrate you and don't just tolerate, or who don't even tolerate you and just live to punish you. Those people are ill. They are ill in the sense of having learned defense mechanisms that are so ingrained inside of them that it's very difficult for them to stop doing what they're doing. It's not impossible, but you don't need to be victimized until they finally decide to get the help. So I hope that made sense to you, and I hope that encourages you to realize that all the crazy things going on in your life, all the crazy making behaviors that you've endured and maybe even exhibited yourself, there's a reason for them. It was not your fault, but it is going to be your fault if you don't get help and you need it. And now I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes here. I think mosquitoes are a bit narcissistic, bloodsuckers as they are. Anyways, I am going to go in the house before the rain hits and before I get eaten alive with mosquitoes. But thanks for watching. I hope this helped you in some way, shape, or form. I'll be making more videos as I promised, and this is just a remake of my other video, Why It Was Not Your Fault. Have a great day. Be blessed. Get help if you need it. Don't be afraid to take medication if you need it. And please, don't stay in an abusive environment if you can get out. And if you can't get out, talk to a safe person about what's going on. Learn some coping mechanisms and be free. God bless you. Bye-bye.